wave to the group here. I've seen some of you on Zoom the last 6 months, and I only wish that I could see you in person, and I'm praying that by next year, maybe by Hanukkah, God willing, we'll be able to do something in person. It's Rosh Hashanah. It is the beginning of the Jewish New Year. Do you know the number of the Jewish New Year for this year? 5781. I'll be quizzing you at the end to see if you remember that.
5781.
5781. 5781.
Got it.
Okay? Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the new year. It's also called Yom Harat Olam, the birthday of the world. And one of the things that we do on Rosh Hashanah is we celebrate the fact that the world exists, that human beings are part of this world, and all the good things that we can do if we act in the right way. So we're going to start our service this afternoon with Hine Matov Manayim, which means how wonderful it is for people, brothers and sisters, to join together in peace. Hine Matov.
Hine Matov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
I want to test how good your memory is. What year is it in the Jewish calendar?
5781.
You'll never forget that.
Never.
But you need to forget it for next year. It's going to be 5782. But okay, okay. But I'm going to keep coming back to that.
5781.
Okay. Most of you know, hopefully all of you know, that one of the most important prayers in Judaism, we say it at least 2 times a day, and then you're supposed to say it really before you go to bed. It is the Shema. And the Shema is a way for us to say that we believe in God, we think God is good, and that we as Jews have a special feeling in relationship to God. Not that other people don't have that special relationship, but we Jews feel a special relationship. And then in the first paragraph after the Shema, it talks about the fact that one of the ways that we show our love of God is by teaching these words of the Shema and saying them in the morning, saying them in the evening. You can never go wrong saying the Shema. And one of the things that I did, and it'd be a great thing for you guys to do in your family, when I was growing up, my kids, before they went to bed, they said the Shema, and then my grandchildren do that. It's a great thing to end the day and go to sleep thinking that there is one God and we have a special love in relationship with that God. So Becky and Nathan have written a special melody for this. You won't hear it any other place. They did it for the congregations in the community a week or so ago. So people are probably already imitating it, and they're not giving you credit. So there might be some copyright issues we need to start dealing with. I'm worried about your retirement, so we could use some of that. Okay, so Shema and you shall love.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivon Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Va'ed. children and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up, you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be a symbol before your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments and be holy, holy to your God.
That was great. Different parts of Judaism, different holidays, different times of the week have different melodies connected to prayer. And one of the things that makes Rosh Hashanah and then in 10 days Yom Kippur different from, say, the Sabbath or the weekday is that it has special ancient melodies. Some of them we know where they came from, some of them we really don't know where they came from, but they've been carried on from one generation to the next. So there's going to be a couple of things that I want Becky and Nathan to do for us that will give people, the kids out there and our families, a flavor of what High Holidays sounds like. You know, one of the things that people sometimes do everything to Shabbat melodies, and I love Shabbat melodies, but Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur isn't Shabbat. So we are going to do Micha Mocha, and Micha Mocha is an interesting prayer because it was said by the Israelites once they crossed the Red Sea and got to the other side. They were joyful, and then they said, "Who is like you, Lord? Who is like you, gracious and holy? You are awesome, you perform wonders." They were so excited that they broke into song. Becky and Nathan will do that in the melody of Rosh Hashanah. We're going to now go to probably the most familiar high holiday piece melody. People who go to synagogue often hear this. We did it in our evening service of Rosh Hashanah. We did it this morning. We'll do it again on Yom Kippur. It is Zachrenu L'chaim, which means remember us to life. And what that means is, you know, we do good things, God willing, in our lives. All of us do. I'm sure you could tell me some of the good things you do. We want God to be mindful of them, to remember them, that the good things that we do. And then the second part, Kadvenu B'Sefer Chaim, is we want our deeds to be written down. We want them to be permanent. We want to do things that last beyond us. So it's Zachrenu L'chaim, B'Sefer Chaim. It's one piece, special melody. Becky and Nathan will do it right now.
Magen Avraham ve'Izrat Sarah.
You only hear those words on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, and you only hear that melody on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. That's when I hear these melodies, it gets me in the mood for the high holidays, okay? We are now going to do, this is famous. It's called Avinu Malkeinu, and how would you guys describe what a folk melody is?
Something that's so old no one knows where it came from.
Yeah, so Avinu, a lot of the music that Becky and Nathan do, they have music for it. They know who wrote it, whatever. Avinu Malkeinu, this folk melody, it's been around Judaism so much, we have no idea where it came from. We just know that it's hundreds of years old, and in every synagogue where the Jews are from, either Eastern Europe or Central Europe, you're going to hear this melody, okay? So you're going to do Avinu Malkeinu, okay?
Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu. Ein banu ma'ashir, asher imanu. Tzedakah v'chesed, asher imanu. Tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu, ki ein banu ma'ashir.
That was good. We've done a lot of family services together. This has a certain amount of pep to it. It almost appears as if we planned it. But no, that couldn't be. It just couldn't be. So, we are going to now continue with something really special. I've been promising you this. That you will see a wonderful film clip. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. It was made especially for us. You'll watch it, and after you watch it, we're going to come back and we'll go with the end of our service. Okay? Enjoy the film.
Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy a lesson learned. Hey! Who's that guy? He sure makes a big sound for such a skinny fella. Bzzz. Shh, not so loud. He'll hear you. Hear me? Hear me? After the racket he just made? I'm amazed I can even hear myself. And just look at him over there munching on those apples and... Hey, what's that? He's eating my precious honey! No! Hey, buddy, what's up with the apples and honey? Oh, Mr. Shofar, I am so sorry. My friend here should have never been so unwelcoming to a stranger. Wait a minute, you know this guy? Yes, I know who he is, and I'll explain in a second. As I was saying, my buzzy little friend here was a little concerned because he saw that you were eating some of his apples and honey. Oh, no worries. I'm eating apples and honey because it's tradition for Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah? What's that? That's what I was going to tell you before you started buzzing off the handle. Today is the first day of the Jewish month of Tishrei. That's Rosh Hashanah, B. In Hebrew, Rosh means head and Hashanah means the year. So that means it's the head of the year. Happy 5781! We're saying goodbye to the year that's over. So turn to your family and friends and tell them something great that happened this past year. It's great to share all the wonderful things that have gone on in our lives this past year. We eat apples and honey because they are sweet. Sweet flavors to start this sweet new year. Yeah, well, lots of things are sweet. Ice cream is sweet, chocolate is sweet, so why doesn't this guy go get himself a candy bar instead of dipping his apples in my precious honey? B, stop being so rude. It's embarrassing. Say you're sorry. Me? Apologize? Seriously? I don't even know this guy from Adam. I don't even know what he's talking about. He only happens to have about the most important job here today. He is the shofar, and it's his job to call us all to attention so we can think about our behavior this past year and if we've hurt anyone's feelings. Shofar? Shofar? Well, if he's the shofar, where's his limo? Ha 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 ha. Like I haven't heard that one before. That's right, B. I'm the shofar. And if you'll excuse me, I have a job to do. You see, the shofar is meant to remind us that we need to say we're sorry for the people we've hurt this past year and promise ourselves that we will do better this year. It's kind of like an alarm clock. It wakes us up and reminds us of how we act and how we can do better. God is calling to us today, on the first day of the new year, to start thinking about the ways we may have hurt people and who those people are. But that's just the first step. So I'm supposed to think about how I might have been mean to people this year. Well, I'm nice all the time! Oh, well, I guess that does make me feel a little bit bad. Being mean to others does make us feel bad. The next step is to say you're sorry and ask people for forgiveness. Oh, I could do that. I guess I could do that. I guess I could definitely do that. I guess it's something I could do. I don't know. Really, B? I'm not so sure you can. It's not just about saying I'm sorry. It's about really meaning it. You know, I think I heard a story once that explains this perfectly. When I say drought, everybody pant like a dog. Drought! When I say the word rain, slap your legs to make the sound of falling rain. Rain! When I say pray, everybody stand up and then sit back down. Pray! And when I mention Rabbi Akiva, everybody does a silent cheer with their hands over their heads. Rabbi Akiva! Back in the day before water hoses and sprinklers, farmers couldn't do much to water their crops other than pray. They would sing and chant and do anything they could so that God would give them rain. But one year, nothing seemed to work. There was a terrible drought. That was a time when there was no rain for a long time. People started to wonder, hey, what did we do to deserve this? Have we sinned against God? Is this some sort of punishment? Now at this time there were two great rabbis. You might even call them super rabbis. One of them was Rabbi Akiva. We'll come back to him later. The other was Rabbi Eliezer, who had a reputation for being a bit of a curmudgeon. It was said that he would never, ever forgive people who he thought were mean to him. But he was also very, very wise and learned. He filled his heart so much, they say, that when he prayed, he once made a river run backwards. Crazy or what? Clearly this was the guy who could fix this terrible drought. Rabbi Eliezer got down to work. All day and all night and all day he studied and he wrote and he brainstormed ways that he could get God to grant people some rain. He could not forgive the sinners who had caused God to begin this terrible drought. After days and nights and days, Rabbi Eliezer stood before the community, raised his arms to heaven, and he prayed. He had written new blessings for the Amidah, and he sang them out with all his heart, with all his soul, with all his might, like they were magic words. But it didn't work. So he prayed harder. He prayed louder. He cursed the enemies of the Jewish people. He praised the wonders of God. He begged and sobbed for rain and rain and rain. But it still didn't work. Silence, dryness, not a single drop did fall. And then, from the crowd of onlookers, a voice cried out, a kindly voice, a patient voice, and it was singing. It was Rabbi Akiva! And his voice was full of love for all the people, full of forgiveness for all the wrongs that had brought this drought upon the people of Israel. And he sang these words of praise. Avinu Malkeinu, Almighty and merciful God, O God of forgiveness, answer us with grace, for our deeds could never be good enough. Drip, 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 a joyful rain fell upon the people of Israel. Let me hear that rain! When the people began to ask why Rabbi Eliezer's prayers were not answered, a heavenly voice spoke up. The prayer of Rabbi Akiva was answered not because he was better than Rabbi Eliezer, but because Rabbi Akiva was willing to forgive the mistakes that everyone had made, and Rabbi Eliezer was not. When we go to God and ask for forgiveness and for a blessing, we must do it with hearts full of love and hearts full of forgiveness towards others. Only then can we be forgiven ourselves. Wow, what a great story, and what a mensch that Rabbi Akiva was. He sure knew a lot about how to treat other people, how to forgive, and how to be forgiven. I know, right? We have some pretty amazing ancestors, and I'm sure we can learn a lot from them. Absolutely. You know, B, you're pretty awesome. Not all rabbis were as righteous as Rabbi Akiva. In fact, some of our ancestors didn't behave themselves. But the stories we learn from them, good and bad, help us to understand what God wants us to do. Now it's time to take a few minutes for silent prayer and think about forgiveness. Ask yourself, have I hurt someone's feelings this past year? Have I asked for their forgiveness, or have I told them I was sorry? How are some ways that I can be the best person I can be? How can I be better? How can I make the new year a great one? Continue this conversation with your family this coming week. I'm so proud of you, B. After being rude to the shofar, it was great to see you finally stand in his shoes, see how you hurt his feelings, and tell him you were sorry. Way to go! I guess I was pretty mean, wasn't I? I guess I didn't need to get all buzzed up over something as silly as honey. You tried to point that out to me, but I guess I was only thinking about myself and not about him. I don't mind sharing my honey with someone so cool. I've learned a lot today. Most of all, I learned that I want to learn to be a mensch, just like Rabbi Akiva. I'm really going to try to learn to be kinder to everyone. Really, to everyone! Bzzz! B, great job with the first tough steps of teshuvah. Realizing what you've done wrong and saying you're sorry. Now that you've done that, you can turn to God and ask for forgiveness. Lashana Tova. Have a happy and sweet New Year.
I know you enjoyed that film. I saw it and it was great, and I want you to know it was made especially for the new Reform Temple. And on Yom Kippur, we're going to have another movie, tape, film that is made especially for the New Reform Temple. So I'm glad you had the opportunity to see that, and all this stuff is going to be on our Facebook page and on our website, so you can go back and watch it as many times as you want. Eating apples and honey is big in Jewish tradition. Now, there are other fruits that you can use besides apples, but I'm from upstate New York. We ate apples. Second of all, honey is very important because you need something that's sweet. But there's something different about honey than about anything else. It binds, it sticks. And one of the things that tradition tells us is that on Rosh Hashanah, we have all these things we say we're going to do them. And the honey represents we have to stick to them. I'm going to test you on that later as well. But first, what year is it? 5781. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, Nathan, you can eat a piece of apple, can't you? We're not going to have Becky can because she has to sing.
Is that organic?
Yes, this is an organic apple.
Well, it's very shiny.
Is that a bad sign?
I don't know, it's not a wax apple, it's a real apple. Okay.
It's a real apple.
This looks so perfect.
Okay. Ooh, cut my finger off, but okay. So I'm going to open this honey, and all the members of New Reform Temple got one of these. If you haven't, you got to come to the synagogue, get your bag. It'll have this in it, it'll have an apple in it, it'll have a prayer book in it. It has all the things that you needed, and maybe some of you didn't have a chance to get it. So I'm opening the jar up. You cannot believe what this smells. Doesn't that smell good?
Cheers.
Cheers. This is not your average honey.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
This is special honey.
Well, now what makes it so special?
It came from good bees. I don't know.
Special bees.
No, but we didn't get it at the store. We went to some place where the honey. There's something in Judaism called beautifying the mitzvah. If you're going to do something, you have to beautify it. So we got the best honey we could get.
It is beautiful.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to spill it a little bit instead of dipping it in the. God, look at that. It's really amazing. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, Nathan. So you take the apple, you dip it in there, and you say the blessing over fruit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'etz. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the tree. And then we say, Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu shetitchadesh aleinu shana tova mituka. May it be your will, eternal our God, that this be a good and sweet year for us. Take a bite. Oh, here.
I don't have an apple.
No, here. Here. I'm gonna take this. I don't want to get near you. So you go and grab that. Is that good or what?
Really good. It's really good for singing, actually.
Is it good? It's good, isn't it? You guys better go and get your honey if you didn't do it yet, and then report back what it was like.
Good apple, too.
The Jews know what they're doing, don't we?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we're going to do the blessing. You're going to do the blessing for the shofar and the Shechianu, and then I'm going to try to get some notes out of this shofar. Okay? How's that? Is that a deal?
Sounds good. I have a new surge of energy now.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav
Shechianu.
Back to back? Okay.
Back to back, my friend.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. You bring us here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. You keep us here. Shehechianu, vekimanu, vehigianu lazman hazeh. Shehechianu, vekimanu, vehigianu lazman hazeh.
So, there are 4 notes, and there are different patterns to the notes because different Jews had different ideas what the pattern should be. So there is the tikiyah, the shvarim, the truah, tikiyah, then it's the tikiyah gadolah. So the tikiyah is one straight note. Boo. Then it's shvarim is da 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 da. Truah da 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 da. Tikiyah, and then a tikiyah gadolah means a big tikiyah. So I'm going to try it, guys. I haven't been in training, and I have many shofarot. This is a pretty one, isn't it?
That's
Yeah, I hope the camera's on this. Can everyone see this? It's beautiful. I can't get a sound out of it.
good pipe.
I've had this for 40 years. Now, I'm going to do a tikiyah gadolah, which is a long note. Now, I'm not in any competition. There are people who can do this for, life has, decades ago, God knows what I would be capable of. Now, I take what I can get, okay?
I believe in you, Rabbi. You can do this.
That was okay.
That was pretty good.
Pretty good. So, Shana Tova, a good and sweet new year. Enjoy your apples and honey. Be good to your parents. Thank them for all they do for you. And we will see you on Yom Kippur for the Yom Kippur family service, which I believe is at, let me just check. I believe it's at 1 o'clock. Who knows? Yeah, it's at 1 o'clock. Okay? So Shana Tova, have a good new year.
L'shana